Hi everyone, welcome back, and sorry for the long delay. I was trying to figure out how to go about making these bodies for you so that you could make them at home easily with materials that are lying around rather than having to buy new stuff or not even having the materials. So I want you all to be able to take part because what I'm seeing so far is amazing. Like all your wings and tails that are coming through are looking so fantastic. I'm still loving the nice little feed everyone's shared their hashtags on there. It looks fab. I know some people have made the bodies already and they're amazing as well. If you haven't seen them, go across, check it out. Hashtag Escape with Feathers. And you can see everyone's owl examples on there. They're amazing, really amazing. But I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're coping okay. I'm just about getting through it. I'm escaping a lot with feathers. It's kind of keeping me distracted. And I hope this has helped you a little bit as well, keep you distracted. But we're going to start with this one, and this is part 8. So if you haven't caught up, go back, have a look. Because we start right from the very start, cutting feathers through to this stage where you've made your wings and your tail for your owl. And now we're going to do the body. Now the body I've kind of devised here is slightly simplified, but you can elaborate on it as you like really. But it uses materials around the house that are kind of easy to get hold of, especially as we're all getting home deliveries at the moment. I kind of thought, you know, card. I'm getting loads of boxes and stuff, which I feel really bad. I do recycle, but it's nice to be able to use materials you've got lying around, so kind of cardboard used from boxes and stuff like that. You can use this and layer it up to create the bodies, which you then can stick the paper on top of and create little bodies like this, if you can see. This little guy, and then obviously the little face as well. It's a separate piece we'll make as well for this. And obviously you can stick those together and put your tail and your wings into it. So you have a full complete owl. Now this one's slightly 2D. As you can see, it's kind of flat. It's not as rounded as the mould I have. But you can layer up your card to create a much more 3D or three-dimensional owl, if you like. Or if you like, you know, this look. I mean, all the textured feathers do hide everything underneath. So it's amazing how they cover everything up, really, and distract your eye. Obviously, the more you layer up, you probably figured this out already from the wings you've made, how much you can hide underneath them. So the bodies are the same, exactly the same. You won't see any of the card underneath. But in this tutorial, I'm going to go through what shapes you're going to need, how you're going to layer them up, stick them together to create the form in which you're going to feather on top of. And I'm going to bring you in again closer to have a look, and we'll go from there. Right, so what we're going to need are your template sheets, number 1, then number 2, the one with the bodies on it. And we're going to use actually this body over here as our main reference to create the body, to get our scale and shape right. And I suppose I can give you a closer look now as to the kind of shape of body created here. You can see it's quite flat from the side. There's quite a lot of shape and texture from the front and from the back. And the tail slots in there nicely. You've even got 3D legs that stick out that you can put feet into. And the face itself is quite a diddy little face. You can see him. It's quite dark on here, isn't he? Yeah, a little diddy face. It's kind of cute, which will obviously stick on top of your little guy like that. And you can obviously position him however you like. A little cute little sideways look to him, but underneath all this feathering is cardboard, and it's layered up. So it's just straightforward over here, bog standard cardboard from a box. I'm just going to use this and cut and layer it up. You can use any card you've got lying around or any material you like for this. But as I say, we're going to use this shape here as our guide for what we're going to make. And you're going to trace again. So you're going to need tracing paper. And I've actually traced out the shapes in advance here to show you. And what I'll do is I will pop a still of this after I've explained the shapes onto the screen for you so you can have a closer look at them all lined up. I've also put how many you're going to need of each piece inside each shape. But a kind of rough demonstration really here. So this first shape here is a full line outline of the complete owl body. So you're going around the entire shape except the legs, you're on that complete oval almost. It's almost like a full egg shape around the complete outside of your owl. Okay, and then the second shape in, this one here, you notice it's slightly smaller. So imagine you're tracing, say, 3 or 4 millimeters in from the outside line of the owl. So you're creating a slightly smaller oval shape, which will then sit on top of this one and add a little bit of a contour as it starts to build up. Okay, so you're going to need those ones as well. So it's slightly smaller, as you see this one. Your third shape is actually going to be inclusive of the legs now. So what I've done is I've traced a smaller oval again inside this one. So imagine you're going even smaller at the top, down to the top of the legs. And I've traced the leg shapes in, but you'll notice there's an extra section I've added either side of the legs here. And they are, so you're doubling the size of the legs, straight out, down and straight back into the bottom of the legs. So you can then fold those and roll them over to create the full 3D legs you see on this little guy here. So you're going to create this 3D tubular look for the legs. Okay. So the third shape is this one, which again you trace from the shape here. So you're including the shape of your legs and everything else on top. Okay. And then your fourth one is going to be the main mask of your owl. So the main shape of his heart shape of his face and the little eyes. And you're going to go the inside heart shape, not the outside. You'll notice there's like a slight feathering around the outside. Actually, I can show you on this little guy. If you see where the brown feathers are on the outside, that's the outside of the heart. The inside of the heart is the white feathers. So you're going to trace the inside heart where the white feathers are and his eyes, okay, for the face mask. And your fourth shape is the beak. So this section here. By the beak, we're actually going to add a complete ridge all the way up the centre of his face. So you get that slight kind of elongation. Again, I can show you on here, where all these feathers fluff up down that middle section. You want that extra 3D pop. So for the beak and the central line of the face, you're going to trace, you can see where the beak is on your shape again. I don't know if you can also see where it continues up to the eyes, around the eyes, and then that full, almost ridge type cone, that whole front of the face down there. So if you trace that whole shape like this, okay, and let's see, I've put little dotted lines where I'm going to crease down the middle, so you create like a little ridge before you stick it on the face. And the last shape is actually for the back of him. So imagine when you flip him over, on the back side of him you want an extra bit of contour to stick out. So this last oval or egg shape is smaller again than the second one. So again, if you just lay it inside your shape and draw one that's going to be smaller than this, okay? And that will be all the shapes you're going to need to trace onto your card and cut out. So obviously transfer trace, so you flip the sheet over, lay it on top of your card, and use your pencil again to push the shapes through onto the card. And then with a cutting mat and scalpel, I find easier for this than scissors, because scissors tend to bend the card, but if you've only got scissors, absolutely fine. But if you pop out your cutting mat and a good scalpel, you can then go around all these shapes and cut them out, which I've already done here. And yeah, all your shapes. So as I say on the tracing sheet, which I'll put a photo of that now. So I hope you saw that, and you can see all the shapes you need. If you want to pause it, you can look at it for longer if you want to trace it from the screen maybe. But once you've traced onto the card and cut them out, you can then pop them all out. So you can pop all the shapes out you've cut. Some have ×2, some have ×1. Again, this is only for my guide, but if you wanted to make your owl thicker or more 3D, just add more layers really of these shapes, or a variety. You could even go very slightly, like a millimetre smaller each time for each layer. have a good play with it first and get the shape how you want it. And even if you want a different pose for the owl, you can have a think about that. It's just literally cross-section, so cutting your owl into pieces and imagining it sort of all split out in one. Because when I layer all these shapes up now, so these two larger ones, as they come in together, get slightly thicker. And then you'll add one of these slightly smaller ones, one on the front and one on the back. So then you start to layer up a bit of a contour, a bit of a nice form to it, if you can see. So you can get like that nice sandwich effect. It starts to build up. As I say, you could probably add, you know, up to 4 layers in the middle, really, if you wanted to really get a nice 3D formed owl. But yeah, once they're layered up like this, you can then think about your leg piece, which will layer again on top of that. So that even adds more 3D to the whole piece. So you're starting to get quite a big form now, and actually that's already a bit bigger than the one I created with the paper. I've added an extra layer to this one. This was my test piece. I do apologise for taking so long to try and figure out how to do this for you all. You may have been waiting quite a while for this, but I just wanted to get it right. So I was faffing a bit. I do apologise for that. But I'm back now, and we're going to make owls' bodies so you can stick all these lovely wings and tails to them. But then obviously on top of the legs, your little face piece would then come in, like so, and obviously the beak would sit on top. Oops, drop that. The beak would then sit on top of that. Like so. So you've got quite a full form already coming here, and this little piece then would go on the back of him as well. So what I'll actually do now is we'll start to stick these pieces together with glue. Okay, so we'll start with our smaller back piece here, and I glue it. Well, actually no, I'm going to change my mind here. I'm going to glue the two large pieces together first, so you can get the centre of the shape started. Okay, so I'm just going to glue the back of that, press them together, let that set a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to get slightly smaller oval shape and glue the back of this, and then stick him on top. Like so. And then I'll flip him over and I'll stick the other slightly smaller oval on the opposite side. Like that. So you really start to build up quite a nice contoured piece. See the edge? It really starts to build up nicely. Okay, then on top of this piece here is where your legs piece is going to go. Now this legs piece, we actually want to shape the legs before we pop it on there, or think about the shape of them, because you want them to be rolled and have a bit of form to them. So you can use your fingers for this, or you can use a pen or a knitting needle or something like that if you want to do, and you could bend this card around it. But the good thing about being corrugated card is you've already got ridges there, which can help you, and they actually add a bit of strength. But I'm just going to tease it around with my fingers at this point. I'm going to roll it. And don't worry about these looking messy, because you do not see any part of this card. This is all base, it's all underneath. So it can be as messy as you like, it can be covered in glue, tape, absolutely anything. It's the beauty of the feathers, they cover everything up. So I'm just going to gently tease and curl, crease and press the legs around. Till you get some kind of rounded form to your leg. Do the same on this side. And roll them into each other. Like so. Cool, so you've got two rounded legs, you can see those, and yeah, they start to look nice and 3D formed. But what you'll notice on this owl here is they've got a bend in them. Bend we need to add to this as well before we stick them down, and the best way of doing that is where those joints are going to be. I use my scalpel and I score just a faint line. You don't want to cut too deep, you just want to score a little line where that joint's going to go, so that then the bend happens a lot easier. It doesn't have to stay there perfectly for now, but we want the bend in before we start sticking all the layers together. So the legs start to take shape a little bit. So again, you can see, it looks messy, but I promise you it will work. Okay, now you can even use a little bit of tape just to wrap around the ankles of your owl so it holds the legs together nicely. I've actually forgotten the tape over here, so I shan't tape mine. But feel free to tape your ankles so it holds the legs together. Okay, once you've created those little legs, we're going to glue the back of this piece, and we're going to stick this on top of the body again. Like so. Now you don't want to stick the backs of your legs to the body at all yet, because you want to get underneath here to add all the feathers underneath before you stick them down, and also you want to feather the legs as well before you stick them. So leave them quite loose at the moment and free. It's got a nice kicking pair of legs, and then you can also see again how those layers are building up now and create a nice form to this owl. Quite a nice bit constructing stuff out of card. It's quite a satisfying process because you can take your time with it. You can obviously peel it off and add other bits and keep going with it. I find it quite a relaxing process again, same as the cutting the feathers. Because as I say, you can add so many different more layers to this and different details, but it creates a nice simplified body for you underneath. And you can create anything the same way really, any sort of bird or animal you want to make. You know, just start with your template, your drawing, and then just break it down into cross sections. You create pretty much the same thing. So I'm just going to stick the back one on as well, so that last small little contour on there. And this guy just adds a bit more to the back, as you can see. Like so. There's quite a lot of 3D to that now. Yeah, so the body, that's the body pretty much done. Now you notice with mine here, I've kept the body and the head separate for now, so I can show you about construction and get that all sorted for you. So the head, we're going to, so you've got your mask with the eyes and your nose shape. So the eyes, I'm going to pop out. Okay, and the reason I pop the eyes out is because it helps when you come to cut the white paper. So you're going to cover this whole mask in little white feathers, but you obviously want to keep the eyes hollow, so you can stick in, like with mine here, little balls into the eye sockets if you wanted to, but there is option as well obviously to cut little paper eyes and stick them on top of the face, so feel free whichever way you want to go with it, but this gives you more options to start with and also tells you where the eyes are from the back of the mask once you've feathered the front. So pop your eyes out, have your little mask laid out. Now your nose, what I'm going to do is I'm going to score with my knife just down the centre of the nose, so it allows me to fold it neatly straight down the middle. Okay, so then you want to pinch and fold that nose all the way down. So if you can see, I'll show you that. You can see it's folded now. It's got a slight coning to it, so that when that comes down and is sticked on the or stuck, sorry, can't speak, stuck on the mask, you get a ridge to your face. See that? Okay, so I'm going to glue that in place. Again with a little bit of glue on the back here. Okay, I'm going to glue it to the front of the mask, like so. Make sure it sets in place. Now you can use a template as well, just to make sure you get in position of things right, but you know, it's nice if you make your own, so you make your own version, your own variety. It adds so much more to it, I think. So I don't know if you can see this little guy now. He is got a bit more 3D form to him. That coning of the nose. You can even bend the face in half a little bit, so you get a bit of more of an angle to the whole face. Okay, and then what you can do is you can see how that's going to lay up on top of your body, like so. It's kind of cool, isn't it? Now another feature to think about when you're creating the body, so again I'd say keep the face, don't stick the face on the body yet, keep the head separate for now, because what you're going to do is feather the back of the head so it shows from the front, and then you're going to feather on top, and then lastly you're going to stick it to the body, but you're going to need to feather underneath the head as well, so you kind of get this seamless look to it all. But what you've got to think about is where you're going to put your tail onto this body. And with mine, I created a flap within the layers. So if you peel back gently and add a crease to a couple of layers at the back there, you see you create a flap that your tail can slide into, and you can then glue down on top of, and it keeps it nice and secure, and also ends up hiding the top of your tail. It just slips into the body nicely, like so. Okay, so that is what you're going to need to make before we start to feather him. Okay, and then you're going to need a lot more textured paper feathers, obviously, so you can cover the whole body, cover the face and everything else like that. So if you create a nice pile of those as well and create this body, in the next video I'll show you how to start feathering, where to start feathering, and how to get certain techniques and certain looks, you know, for the legs, the body and the face. And yeah, I can't wait to see your bodies as well. It's really exciting. Alright guys, good luck with that. I hope you enjoy this bit, and looking forward to seeing them all. Remember, #escape with feathers, and yeah, stay safe guys. Cheers.